So, I don't know if you've noticed this yet, but as amazing as UBot Studio is, and for all of the time that it saves you, it still tends to require, work. Yeah, it doesn't get much easier than dragging and dropping form fields, but sometimes don't you wish the work was already done for you? Well, guess what? It is! With the Bot Bank, you get a list of websites, and a list of things that you can do on each website. Click. It's done. It really doesn't get much easier than that. The Bot Bank is UBot's new lightning-fast way to share scripts with the UBot community. But here's the thing. People are already using the Bot Bank like crazy. We're giving eager UBotters the opportunity to add their own scripts to the Bot Bank. Each of our thousands of customers who use your script will see your name and website. If you manage to fill up the Bot Bank with your own scripts, hungry internet marketers won't be able to help but see your skill and talent everywhere they look. Get in on it quick. The first one to add a type of script for any particular website will own it, and will be associated with it for as long as it's functioning correctly. John's going to take over now to show you how to use the Bot Bank to make your marketing life simpler than ever before, and also how to add your own scripts to it.
Hey everybody, it's John, and as Seth said, I am going to explain to you everything you need to know about using the new Bot Bank feature. So what is Bot Bank? Well, Bot Bank is a place where you can go to use pre-coded scripts and codes for various sites that have been submitted either by the staff of UBot Studio or by other members like yourself. So as you see, as we click down the list here, you can see that some of these have create account, and if we go down further, Twitter, for example, has create account, follow a user, log in, log out, tweet, and these are just some of the things that you can do in Bot Bank. These are some of the ways that you can add different functions to each site, and you can do it any way you like. And once you put it in for submission, all member submissions are going to be moderated, and so once it's approved, it'll be visible on your screen. It won't be visible until after it's been moderated. So let's take a look and see what we have on the right hand, in the left hand side here over in the Bot Bank. Bot Bank, as you can see, already has some scripts loaded in it, and I'm sure you can already see them in your version as well. But there's some different things that you can do with them. And for example, there is a right-click context menu. On the main site name, the right-click context menu says Add Command. That means we want to add something additional to what's already there. So there's a Create Account, but say we wanted to add a login. Well, we would right-click on the account itself, on the website itself, and add a command. So by clicking that, you see it preloads the correct site, and then I might call it login, and then logs in to Anantech account. Just a brief description. I should spell it correctly. And then I would add whatever parameters I need. If I just needed a username and a password, very simply I would add those like that, and I would click OK. But we're not going to do that just yet. Now, under Create Account, the right-click context menu is a little different. You can run it, and by clicking Run, it pops up a parameters box, and you can see mine's preloaded. And the reason that's preloaded is because in this account, and if we go into Edit, I can show you. The username, I used the variable username, password, I used password, and email, I used email. Well, if you look up in your options under the default form fields, I have it filled out. So there's my username, there's my password, and there's my email. And you can see it preloads because those are the variables that I've assigned to this script. Okay, so in order to run it, you either can just load, type something in, whatever you want, or it'll preload based on what you already have loaded, and you click OK. And once you click OK, it's going to run it automatically. And this one I've already created, so it's not going to work. But that's okay, you get the idea. Okay, so edit script. You saw me do this just a couple minutes ago. It brings up all the code. And what's important about that is if you come across when you're trying to use it and it doesn't work, you now have the ability to go in and edit it and fix it, or change it to add something. If the website changed, whatever, you have that ability to do that. So you simply click on the edit script, come in and make whatever changes you want, and then you're going to click on sync, which is going to send it back to Bot Bank, at which point it'll be moderated. Once it's deemed that it's functional and good, we'll approve it, and it will be added back to the list of available sites. So Bot Bank is really cool in the sense that it's kind of a give and take type of process. It's like a script exchange. You can contribute to it, and at the same time you can use scripts that are already there and code. The last thing is flag, and that is perhaps it's not working and you're not sure why. You can flag it and put a description of the problem that you're experiencing, and flag it, at which point we can go in and take a look at it and see what the problem is. Very simple. You can also use that for things that are inappropriate, sites that are inappropriate, or whatever it is that you feel needs to be flagged, you can flag and we will have a look at it. Okay, so that's pretty much the basic fundamental usage from the menus over here. The last thing that you can do is you can literally just drag it in. And by doing that, it'll ask you to fill out whatever information you want. And you can, switch over to your toolbox and just throw in some account data. You get the idea there. For those of you that want to create a lot of accounts, you simply throw a loop in. If you're going to use account data, you can pull in a reset account, click OK, go back to Bot Bank, and drag it in. Put whatever details you want. In this case, it would be account data for all three. Run the loop, and it'll create 10 accounts for you. It's just that simple. Okay, so let's go back to the Bot Bank. And let me explain how you can add your own website. You go through this list and you want to add a site that's not here. It's really very simple. You're going to come down to the bottom and you can see where it says Add Website. And you're simply going to put the domain name in. And the example given is like google.com, and that's the format we'd like it in. As you can see, that's the format here. It helps us keep it in alphabetical order and nice and organized. So you can put anything you want. And click OK. When you do that, it's going to show up in this list. And I have one example here, Angel Fire, where you can see there is no arrow next to it. That's what it's going to look like when you first put it in. It won't have anything next to it because it doesn't have any commands. So what do you do with it now that it's in? Well, we want to add a command to it. So we can either right click it, as I explained it before, and click Add Command and fill it out as we want, or Let's go to the site. And once the site is loaded, you can go to any of the form fields on the page and right-click it, and if you look all the way down here at the bottom, it says Create Bot Bank Command. Now when you click that, you're going to get this pop-up, and it will have captured all the form fields on the page. But I want to go back for a second because I want to take this site, we'll do it right from the beginning. I want to add a website, horselist.org, click OK. And you'll see a red one because I denied it so that we could do this from the beginning. So, like I said, we can either add command or we can go right to the site, click Create Bot Bank Command, and you will notice that it has the correct website. We're going to type in Create Account and then a short description. And then we're going to go through our form fields. So when you look at it, you have first name, last name, address, that's good, city, state, country, zip code, phone, email, email to. Well, we don't need 2 email boxes. Newsletter, drop down, checked and unchecked. Username, password, password to. We don't need a second password box because the passwords are the same. Word, that comes from here, from the CAPTCHA. So we don't need a form field, a UI element for CAPTCHA. So we can take that out. And then terms of service. And these are check boxes, these two. And we don't need them. You can always put them, I'll leave them in there so you can see how it comes up. But if you notice the drop downs, it has grabbed all of the values of the drop downs for state and country codes or country entries. So once you click OK, you are now going to see in a second that it's created the UI for you. And I just want you to take note that state right here looks like a text box, but it's not. It's actually a drop down. It just, because of this one entry, it made it too wide, but it still functions correctly. So you can choose anything you want. We can, put United States of America, Vermont. And, I did make one mistake, which we will go and fix. Phone needs to be phone number. And if you recall, all of these variables are tied to our default form fields if you have them filled out. And you see under phone, it says phone number. That is the actual that's the actual name of the variable. So we click OK. So we know that we had an extra email field that we took out. So technically you didn't need to take it out. You could have just changed the variable that goes with it. Go to our toolbox. Email, and then the other one was password, which is going to be confirm password. And we'll put the password in there. Okay, and like I said, you had this one checkbox to join the newsletter. Let's just assume that we don't want to join it. So one thing we can do is newsletter. We can edit it and change it to unchecked. In terms of service, you can't join without clicking that. So we'll edit that and make it checked. And now, one last thing, I'm sorry. So we need to solve the CAPTCHA. Okay, so now when I click run, it should fill everything out. But before I do, I want to show you that because I want to remove these two from the UI area, I'm going to click on Edit Parameters, and it's going to bring this box back up. So I'm going to go to the checked and unchecked newsletter. I'll get rid of that. And terms of service. Yeah, I'll get rid of that. That's only the UI it takes it away from. Okay, so now we have the remaining. Thanks, and let me just make sure. Okay, yeah. It's recognizing the phone number. It just didn't pre-fill it because I had it wrong when it loaded. I had it as phone and not phone number. So when I click run, it should be loading all the fields. And let's see. Jackson Township, I didn't actually pick a state. So we have New Jersey, yep, that's correct. And it did solve the CAPTCHA, so that's good. So it all worked out. Except for one thing. I'm sure somebody would have corrected me had you been with me. We didn't actually navigate to the site. So now that we're going to navigate to the site, it's going to refresh it, it's going to fill all the fields, it's going to solve the CAPTCHA. The newsletter's not checked. Terms of service is checked. We'll wait for that to fill. And there it is, it's filled, it's good. We now know we can click submit. And that's all there is to it. And this one had quite a few fields to fill in there, but you saw how really simple that was. For me, I prefer using this method of creating the bot bank command just because I like it to grab everything and then I can just compare the two. I just think for me that's the better of the two, the one I prefer. Okay, so now that we've done that, we want it to go into Bot Bank, because if I were to right click this and click on edit, it's going to open a new tab where all the commands are, except there won't be any commands there because I actually haven't synced it yet. And this is really important. You want to sync it after everything works. And make sure that all the commands work and you are ready to put it into Bot Bank, because I'm going to show you what happens if you don't. Let me sync it. Sync is different from save. You know, you don't want to do a little bit and then sync it because that's saving it, because if you do, what you're going to end up with is stuff like this. Every time you sync it, it adds a new one. And that's bad. Not for you, because you won't see it. But for those of us moderating it, we're going to get long lists of these things because you keep syncing them over and over and over again. Wait till you're done and sync it, because if we have to go through 50 of these things for one, I can tell you the approval process is going to take a lot longer. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Just sync it when you're ready, when it's all tested and it all works. This one is, we checked it, it works. So now we have it over here. And as you can see, it says UBot staff, and it has my website on there because I just created it. And how does that information get there? If you look in the options, under Bot Bank, whatever name you want and whatever website you want will be linked to the submissions that you make into Bot Bank, which is pretty cool. A little free advertising for you. Okay, so just to make sure that we completely understand, the default form fields, if these are filled out and you use these variable names, they will automatically fill in when you're using your Bot Bank code. So for this one, if I were to click Run, I'm going to get a pop-up, and you can see it's all filled in. Except for the phone, because I had that one wrong and then had to fix it. But if I were to close it and reopen it, the phone would have filled in. Okay, so that's it for the variables. And you are now aware of how to sync and what it's for. Please don't just keep syncing because you think you're saving it, because you're going to put a bunch of these in and then, you know, we are not going to be happy. You're still going to get approved if it works, but it's really going to be a whole lot of extra work for us if you do that. Okay, so now that I've synced it, you only need to sync it once. I want to delete the tab. And let's just say that I'm making my own script now, and I want to use the one we just made. So I've dragged it into my scripting area, and I've filled it all in. And lo and behold, I've come to find out that it doesn't work. Something's not working in here. You know, it's a couple months later, and I'm not sure, you know, where it could be going wrong. Well, as members, you have the ability to edit them. And it's really simple. Whichever one you feel needs work or isn't working correctly, you simply click on Edit Script, and it'll open the tab that we already had open. Maybe they've changed their form fields. You know, maybe they're not the same anymore, which is really cool because you can just click on Edit Parameters, and let's say that first name is now F name on the site, or you're using F name, or it's not showing up when you bring this up because they've changed the attributes of it. Then you can come in and make whatever changes you need to. Once you do that, and after you sync it, it goes up for moderation. Once it gets checked, it'll come live again once it's approved. If you wanted to add other functions to horselist.org, you could add command and say log in. And then logs in to horselist account. Just a brief description. And of course, you know, before we would do that, I would actually go to the login page. This particular one has an error. So, let me see if that one works. No. Okay, it's not working, but you know that I would right-click it and do it that way. So, other than that, that's really all there is to it, to using Bot Bank. It's really simple. It's going to grow very rapidly, especially after everybody gets the hang of how it works, which you have now seen in this video that it's really not that difficult at all. And you get credit for making your submissions. You get the benefit of using other people's submissions. So have fun with it. Use it. Because it'll only benefit you in the end. It's just so simple to use. You know, what's easier than throwing a loop in and then just dragging one of the sites in and making a bunch of accounts, or, you know, whatever it is you need to do. It's just very, very easy to use and just a really super cool feature. So enjoy, and we'll see you next time.